This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he is guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, LightBlindedFool, the Amyrlin Seat, Green Man, and Kristen Gilreath. And before we get into things today, we'd like to thank and welcome Kevin Bazan and Joseph Tuel to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thanks so much for your generosity and your support. We truly appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 24 of The Path of Daggers.
Yeah, so Chapter 24 is Time for Iron.
Iron.
Iron. Well, it's like iron.
It's so funny. You did that last episode too.
You iron a shirt, but it's iron.
Iron. It's the same. It's the same word.
I disagree.
Oh, man.
Well, that's the chapter we're on.
It is.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a couple things.
I am so excited to talk about this chapter.
I'm happy for that because this is my favorite chapter of the book.
I have to tell you, I'm really confused.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of stuff I don't know what's going on. I had to take physical, jot notes as I was reading the first time.
Okay.
I had to stop reading, start from the beginning, read again, because I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have been.
See, Rand's fighting the Shanshan.
Yeah.
See, the Shanshan are the bad guys.
That's the overarching... I got that.
But... Is Rand also the bad guy? I don't know.
Yes, 100%. Okay. Yep. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. You kept on telling me that the names of all these people didn't matter, and then they just, keep coming up, and they keep coming up, and they keep coming up, and I have to know who they are to make sense of what's happening.
I mean, generally, but that's why I'm here, too, so... But also, I have a correction to make because I want to give you a gold star.
Me?
Yeah, so when we were talking last episode, there was this scene where Rand's guys were killing all the Shanshan.
Yes. With
the crossbow bolt thing.
Yes.
And I thought about it, I reread it, and I changed my mind. 100%. I think you are absolutely right that it's definitely crossbow bolts coming down.
Yeah, because it's mentioned again in this chapter about how that is actually the plan.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter about this. I was just reread after we finished our conversation. I was like, wait, is she right? And I reread it, and 100% it's crossbow bolts, and I think I read it wrong. So yeah, 100% you are absolutely right. So points to you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I like that recognition.
Starting off on a good note.
Yeah.
You're going to lose some points here.
Okay.
You're going to get partial points
I'm going to get points, though.
You're going to get partial points.
I'm going to get some points.
You're getting a sunshine coming through a stormy cloud.
I'm going to get a smiley face as opposed to a gold star.
A couple episodes ago.
I wish I talked about it more. I was too eager to move on.
You were so close. You were so close. You were so close.
I know, and we'll talk about it. And we'll talk about how I actually predicted it a page before it was revealed.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I was like, holy F. And I got it.
Yeah.
But you weren't around for me to say it out loud.
No.
And I was like, frick, I wish I could say this
out
out loud.
I had such a good time when we were recording, though, and we were talking about... When we get there...
I did come close. You're right.
You were so close.
I did. I came so close.
And then you got mad at me, I think, because you were like, am I just messing with you? And I was like, no, you're legit so close and just missing that next step.
I know.
Because, it's so good. Yeah. Anyways, this is my favorite chapter of the book.
Okay.
And I do have to say that this is one of the reasons why Bashir is in, my top 5 characters.
He's a cool dude.
In the series.
He's a good dude.
He is the badass... best guy. I love him so much.
Good dude.
Nobody else has what Bashir has.
Best dude. Okay,
so I'll start us off with a fun fact and we'll get into it.
Okay.
Now, this fun fact evolved as I was researching because of real world stuff. So it's interesting where I started to where I ended. So, I want to look up stuff about jungle warfare because as I was reading this chapter, this, in my mind, feels very, Vietnam War inspired. Taking a page out of RJ's playbook from the war and putting it onto the page. Because not just fighting in trees and jungle, basically what's happening here, and the difficulties.
And
But it's also the issues of things like friendly fire. Because friendly fire is a thing that happens in basically every war, where people are killed and injured by someone on the same side, and it happens for lots of reasons, like miscommunication, bad information, accidents, whatever, and Vietnam War was no different. But I've got a couple of things that I looked into that led me to the core fun fact here.
Okay.
So, I started at the jungle warfare part where it's special techniques had to be researched for military units to like fight effectively in jungle, because there's a couple of big issues you have, like line of sight.
Yes.
And we got that from the Fog of War chapter, and things like where you can actually attack based on what you can see. And specifically, jungle warfare was heavily researched during World War II and Vietnam War. Very, very important wars for that. Now, I was looking at a list of friendly fire incidents, because you can look at that. Basically, every recorded friendly fire incident from every war ever is all on the internet. And I found one specifically from the Vietnam War in 1969, which was right in the middle of when Robert Jordan served.
Yes.
So the particular incident I found was based on a friendly fire incident in 1969 during the Battle of Hamburger Hill, where the Lieutenant Colonel Honeycutt was his name, called in a helicopter gunship to support the infantry assault, and the helicopters mistook the command post for a Vietnam unit, and they attacked, and they killed 2 of their own and injured 35, including the lieutenant colonel who called in the attack. And that caught my eye initially because it's like right in the middle of service. It's a helicopter gunner. It's very similar to RJ's war experience. It wasn't his unit or anything like that, but I wanted to do a little bit more research into the Battle of Hamburger Hill. And that's where it gets interesting, because this is the summary of the battle, and it's very heavily summarized, obviously, but these are like the key features from that battle, and I want you to connect it to this battle that we see on the page here. So, the Battle of Hamburger Hill took place in a heavy jungle and forest on the mountain and hilly terrain. So that's exactly the same that's happening here.
Similar, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hilly, forest, jungles. Now, the second thing is the battle was officially called Hill 937, but the Americans called it Hamburger Hill, suggesting that those who fought on the hill were ground up like hamburger meat. So it's very gruesome.
Meat grinder.
Yeah, but definitely feels that way at the end of this chapter too. And kind of throughout, because we get to see what the Ashaman do.
Yeah, okay.
Next, the battle was actually the second part of a 3-part plan to destroy a Vietnam base. And in Rand's mind, I would also identify as this as like stage 2 of 3, because stage 1 was the mountains.
Yeah.
Stage 2 is the hills. Stage 3 is Abu Dar.
Yeah.
The next similarity is that the battle plan was to have 5 infantry battalions attack their assigned sectors. And here we get them split up into 5 columns.
Okay, yep.
The next one is that they expected heavy resistance, but they had very little intel on the actual numbers and strength of the Vietnam Army, and the Vietnam Army put up a very strong resistance, and the U.S. had heavy casualties, where even 1 battalion alone had around 60% of its troops die. So, very, very similar again, with Rand taking heavy casualties.
Sure, yeah.
Now, there's also the Lieutenant Colonel Honeycutt, who kept prodding his commanders to push forward, even though they had a lot of difficulties coordinating attacks, and eventually that led to 5 attacks from supporting airships, leaving 7 dead and 53 injured from their same side. So again, it's like you have the commander who keeps pushing forward and doesn't want to, fall back.
Right.
Now, eventually the U.S. took the hill, but it was a 10-day conflict. So it's very, again, close to the same what we've done.
Similar.
Very similar. Now, the last portion here is that the hill that was fought over had no real military significance and was abandoned almost immediately, like within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And again, we have Rand doing something somewhere that doesn't really matter and then immediately leaving.
Yeah.
And then lastly, there was severe criticism over this particular battle, and now it's considered one of the major events of the negative public opinions towards the Vietnam War. And it eventually led to a change in the U.S. in how they discontinued their, in quotes, maximum pressure policy on attacking the different Vietnam outposts.
Interesting. Okay,
so,
cool.
again, a lot of...
not cool, but, interesting.
Very, very close parallel when I look at it as knowing who RJ was in Vietnam in the exact same time frame.
Yeah.
With the same position. Yeah.
No, and I do find it interesting, too, because we're just finishing up, sort of, it feels like this battle, and we just did a best of the battles so far.
We did.
With our executive producer Green Man.
Yeah.
Which will be up on our Patreon shortly within the next couple weeks.
We didn't include this one because we weren't here yet.
It wasn't finished yet.
Yeah.
But we ranked and talked about all the different battles so far. And it's kind of interesting because this one applies. We just never talked about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we can do a part 2 later on.
We'll have to for the second half of the series.
Well, you're assuming there's going to be more battles, so yeah.
Well, there's
I don't want to spoil it.
There's at least one more.
You think so.
It's the last
surprise.
It's the last battle.
Right.
At least.
I don't want to confirm
We don't want to compare this one and the only two, the last battle and this one.
But to be fair, this might be some people's last battle. Oh, too soon? We got to pour it out for a couple people this chapter.
Yeah, but some I don't care about and some I'm suspicious about.
Ooh, okay.
I'm so suspicious of everybody.
You're worried about...
Can we get into it? It's been long. It's been a really long intro to this.
Let's do it.
I know we're only talking about one chapter, but we have like 6 different perspectives or something like that.
Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Yeah. I just made that number up. I don't know exactly how many perspectives
it's a fair amount.
Yes. Okay. So, last time we were here, we were with Tyler... And the Shanshan / battle in southern Altara was happening.
Yep.
And Rand is nuts. Like, actually kind of going crazy.
Yep. A little bit.
Situationally, and also there's this problem with Saidin that he's not really acknowledging is a collective problem. He's thinking it's his own problem.
We touch on all these important topics
There's a lot of situational things happening. But... I think that what Rand is experiencing with Saidin is a little bit different than what everybody else is experiencing. So there's like this weird separation of everything weird is happening.
Little column A, little column B, little column C,
that's
little
kind of
column
what
D.
It feels like.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rand was almost killed / assassinated.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And now he's decided he also wants to take Abu Dar.
Right. Now is the time.
After almost being... killed.
Yep. And Bashir was against it.
Yes.
And everybody else was like, yeah.
No, it's one other Sin
Yeah, the alien guy. Yep.
Yes, was also against it. The 2 people who we trust their opinions the most in this
were
against
Gregorin.
it. Yeah. But, you know what's funny? My theory about Rand being pulled to Abu Dar, I still hold a little bit for Matt, but
something
only because
about,
I'm thinking about Matt and I want to know, where Matt is. It didn't cross my mind that we wouldn't actually be, like, in Abu Dar, right? So it's like, let's go take Abu Dar. But in order to do that...
They referenced that there was 100 miles of mountain.
outside of Abu Dar. Duh,
we're in, like,
idiot.
the 100 miles of hill outside of Abu Dar.
I know.
Yeah. And I checked, there's 8 perspectives.
8.
Yeah, like, back and forth. So,
okay, I was worried I said too many, so, okay. Oh, wow, okay. Chapter 24, A Time for Iron. Chapter symbol, the dragon.
Yep.
Okay. Which is interesting because we don't get to Rand soon.
No.
But there's lots of thinking about the dragon reborn as an entity.
It's all about Rand's battle plan here.
That's right. Now, okay. Some guy named Mirage.
Mirage, yeah.
That's the perspective we're starting in. Yeah, he's a Shanshan guy. So we start out in this perspective. This guy is a captain general of the Shanshan.
Yep.
We start with a description of their whole camp, and then we get a description of how the Raken are not very graceful on the ground. We get this,
like the galloping lizard type thing. Yeah,
with
wings
funny. Also.
I like it.
It's a thing. Now we get a bunch of messengers who are darting around the camp. Plus, there's groups of Altarans and Amadisias that have these like red and white slashes on their chests because that means they're irregulars of doubtful reliability.
Yeah, it's basically like the shitty troops. It sounds like it's an X.
Don't count on these guys in battle.
In my mind, it looks like a red X, basically. That's because it says it's
or
a cross. Yeah, it's cross. Yeah.
A cross.
So one or the other. It's like,
as.
Not these morons. Don't trust them.
That's literally what that means. And then we get a description of the Shanshan soldiers from the different nations and all that's happening, and the riders of the Torm and the Grom, and then plus the Suldam and Damani are still hiding away in their tents.
Yeah, so it's just like, what is it, exposition?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I always forget that word, but
now,
that's what it is.
Mirage is watching the other officers work around a table with a map on it, And they're laying down different colored discs and wedges and stuff based on what's happening in this battle so far.
And we're getting kind of this perspective of all the misinformation, because last time we got that they were under the assumption that there's 40,000 of the enemy troops of like Rand's people.
Based on where they were being attacked, whatever.
And now we can see like the actual pieces being moved around. And they think there might be more than 40,000.
90.
Yeah.
90,000, nearly 90,000 enemy soldiers.
There's gotta be.
Yeah,
right?
So there's like black discs on the map for their outposts that have been overrun, red wedges where their soldiers are, and right now they're all pointing back. They're on the move back to Ebudar.
They're all retreating. Like, Rand is crazy effective here.
And there's now 18 white discs for the enemy forces. And so that's how many different separate attacks Rand has done.
It's a lot. They are all over the place.
Yes.
Like, this is a fantastically, like, they're doing such a good job right up until this chapter.
Yeah, when Rand should have turned around and left.
When Bashir, when you're the best captain that you have, like, tells you to go home.
Although, I do have to say, we'll revisit this at the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Because even though you might have shot down a bunch of your own people, you were also pretty effective.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like,
that's fair. Is it worth... That's the question. Was it worth it?
We'll see.
Okay, let's talk about it.
It might be worth it that he put a bunch of people he doesn't like or can't trust in his own
like,
army.
who did we actually lose here?
Tyler was against that plan.
But, like, who did we really lose? Maybe it's not so bad. Okay.
It's not a bunch of Aiel that we love and care about.
That's true. Basically, no women.
That would be very upsetting.
Right?
Yeah. These guys.
We also have to talk. We have to also talk about like how far are the Shanshan gonna retreat? Are they retreating to the city or are they bailing?
We were weeping. We'll get there.
Yeah.
There's weeping.
There's a lot of weeping.
So we'll get there. There's a lot more weeping that actually has to happen before we get to the weeping.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And not just from our good guys and bad guys. Also
from everybody.
Yeah. Also from... the next... Oh, man. Okay. There's so many good little tidbits here.
Okay, let's get to it. All right. So, this guy is standing, watching this happen, kind of trying to figure out where his troops are, where the enemies are, whatever. And High Lady Suroth comes striding into the tent... And he thought she was still in Ebudar.
Yeah, that was the last time we kind of heard from her.
So she must have flown in on a Raken.
There we go. Or a tow Raken.
Or whatever.
Big one.
Yeah. She comes in with some of the Death Watch guards, which you explained the importance of last time.
Yeah, they're not High Lady Suroths.
Yeah.
They're only to the Empress, just to clarify.
All right. So, do you remember how I told you when I started reading this chapter, I had to stop and start from the beginning again?
Yeah.
This was the moment.
Okay.
Basically, this entire section, when everybody is being described and explained, I had to say, hold up, who is what is where is who?
Gotcha, okay.
And then I went and I actually got my piece of paper.
I see that.
My real note-taking.
Yep. On a half-ripped piece of paper, you got it.
Yeah.
It's all there.
It's a little ripped, but it's here.
Okay.
So Mirage is the Captain General. He's at the top. And then under there, we got High Lady Suroth, who actually gets an arrow above
yep.
Mirage because she is above him.
Yep.
Now, okay. She has somebody named Alwyn.
We know Alwyn.
Have we seen this the last time we saw Suroth? Or did we see her
both. Yeah.
other places?
Yep, both.
Ooh.
Well, okay, so
more.
Alwyn, she was one of the Soldam in the Great Hunt when Egwene was captured as a Damani, who called out Egwene for not trying to like even attempt to channel. Ooh. So she was one of those ones. So she's Suldam. And then Alwyn was also in the same scene with Pura being questioned by Suroth. Pura the Aes Sedai.
Yes.
Being questioned
Pura the Damani Aes Sedai.
Yeah. In The Shadow Rising. And then Alwyn is also the one who we saw who, quote, knows too much about the Suldam situation.
Yes.
And Suroth raised her.
And remind us, the Suldam situation is that the Suldam
can learn how to channel. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is something that is known now and is like super hidden because that might topple the entire Shanshan structure and society. And Suroth raised Alwyn up the hierarchy because of what
being-
she knew.
Okay, so she is now, her title, Voice of the Blood.
Yes.
So anytime Suroth wants to talk to somebody who's not, like, worth her talking to,
Yep.
Alwyn talks to them
That's
as Suroth.
Yeah, so the blood would have a voice that they can talk through because they're just like that.
Okay.
Well,
We
okay.
also
yeah.
get that it's kind of weird that Mirage thinks about Alwyn acting as a Suldam.
Yeah, because
I'm
now
just
she's
saying my points
Yeah.
that are under Alwyn at the
Yeah.
moment because
Actually,
we get a
really, yeah.
lot of interesting facts here that I needed to, like, I have arrows, I have
Yeah. I actually like it from Mirage's perspective too, because everything he sees is like kind of weird, and every time he sees it, he's like, "Oh, weird."
Yeah.
But he doesn't say anything
No,
because
he's
he
not
keeps his
allowed.
mouth shut.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's always like, "Oh, that's
okay,
weird."
so it's weird that the voice of the blood is acting as a Suldam leading an Adam.
Yeah.
But we know that Alwyn was a Suldam.
Yes.
So now that makes more sense.
But then it's like, if you become the voice of the blood, are you continuing
Why would you still do that?
to be are you going to continue being a soul dam? So that might be a little bit weird.
Okay. So now I'm going further down my list of people who've walked in.
Gotcha.
So the first one that I immediately recognized, and then this is why. So, like, I kept reading, so I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
So, the only person in the entire series who is described as having honey-colored hair, like, there's lots of, sun hair, light hair,
Yep.
rose gold hair.
There can be only one.
There can only be one honey-colored hair in braids.
Yep.
She's still keeping that up.
Oh, yes, she is.
She's here.
She's here.
And I lose points because I thought we saw the end of her.
Yeah, not quite.
Not quite, which I actually love. Can I say that I love being wrong in this moment?
Also, I have a really good callback, too, for you once we get to their, like, little interaction.
Okay, because, it keeps going. So, we have somebody called a Dakoval,
Yep.
which is a servant. And these are the people who are in the transparent robes.
Yep.
And we've seen them before with Shanshan, whatever. With High Lady Suroth at this moment, we have 2 Dakoval. And I feel so good that I can be so confident about this because I took my notes.
You're
people.
nailing this.
I took my notes. We have
right.
2 Dakoval. One Dakoval is acting as a Damani, which is super strange.
Yep.
That's weird. She has short, dark hair. She is slim and has an ageless face.
Okay, so another Aes Sedai.
Another Aes Sedai. But not one, like, with that description, I couldn't peg it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, so we're just going to leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was wondering if it was Pura or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember her description from,
Yeah, no, I get that.
2 and 4.
Yeah. And at
And
this
you're not
point,
going to confirm it or deny
no,
for me? Okay.
No. At this point, it's not. Let's just keep moving with what we got.
Okay. And this Damani is dressed as property. This is that weird servant/Damani situation.
Yeah.
Where I misunderstood what you were saying a
Right.
couple episodes ago
Right. There's not,
about
yeah.
property. And I thought all Damani were property.
Yeah.
But no, property of the Empress or whatever it is, of the blood, are servants, whereas Damani are something different.
But it's like, it can be both, but it's like Damani are still technically, they're like...
But there would never
Yeah.
be a Damani dressed with the, like,
Yeah, exactly, because they have a
robes.
very specific role.
That's the weird thing
Yeah.
right now. She's the one on the Adam with Alwyn.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now that we have that taken care of, can we go to the mic drop?
We have one quick glossary definition, just to, like... muddle
Right now,
Yep.
before we get to the mic drop, although we've already sort of alluded to it. Should I continue my explanation?
Yeah, okay,
of who
I'll
the
do it
people
after.
are?
Yeah, I'll just...
We'll do it after?
Sure.
Okay, so the second Dakoval is a servant who has honey-colored braids, is dressed in a transparent robe, has an ageless face, and is carrying a writing desk.
Yes.
And then further later is called Leandrin.
It's Leandrin, oh my goodness.
And she has a rosebud mouth. That's
Yep.
the other thing that no other person ever has.
She's here.
Here she is.
Yeah, what a turnaround.
Here she is.
Yeah.
And I'm so pumped. I want to tell you all my speculations of how she got to this place.
Okay.
But later.
Okay, later.
I'll tell you later when we get to the actual, plot.
Yeah.
Because now I'm
we
just
get a little,
going off my notes
we get a
of
little
who
bit
is
more,
who at this point.
Let me do this glossary definition.
Yeah.
Because the whole Alwyn Damani situation is weird, and the voice and the all that. So
okay, so it's time for glossary definitions with Brett.
Okay, so the word is Sojin, because the weird thing is that Suroth is allowing her voice to continue acting as a Suldam after being raised to the Sojin. That's why Mirage feels it's weird. So Sojin, the closest translation from the Old Tongue, is a height among lowness or both sky and valley. So you can basically be high and low at the same time. So with other possibilities too.
And that's what Sojin means?
Yeah, so Sojin is a term applied by the Shanshan to hereditary upper servants. They are Dakoval or property, but they also can occupy positions of considerable authority and often power. And even the blood step carefully around Sojin of the imperial family and speak to Sojin of the Empress herself as to equals. So, even though they're property, they can have power. So, they're property, but they have power. Yeah, exactly. So, it's like that's the height among... Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now that we have all of who's who here taken care of...
Yeah, the important
There's
people.
a lot of undercurrent stuff happening where Mirage is thinking about how Suroth has done a fantastic job with the Forerunners because she's been able to recapture tons of stolen land.
Yeah.
And technically, they've all been sent to, scout the way, not just, reclaim stuff. So
well, yeah, and this
she's
is the
doing
thing.
a good job.
Turak, from way back with the Falma incident, blew it, basically.
Yes, he did.
I mean, they don't know much about the Heroes of the Horn, whatever.
Yes.
But Suroth, because she parked offshore for a while, then came back.
Yep.
And after the Falma incident, they didn't even think they were going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
After that devastating defeat, and now she's basically conquered a third of the landmass.
And that's what she thought. And she thought to herself, ooh, maybe I'll be adopted into the family of the blood. And this is literally what this guy is thinking about her, too.
Yeah,
So that's pretty big, considering she's a big old dark friend.
That's true, too. You know what the funniest perspective is how people view, dropping from the heights of power.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that if Suroth does a bad job, then she might get sold to a farmer to work the fields.
Yes.
And the worst that can happen for Mirage is that the worst is going to happen is he's going to have to kill himself.
He's only going to have to kill himself.
But it's exactly what Kolavir's issue was.
Hey, that's what I was going to say.
The worst thing that can happen isn't having to kill yourself, it's having to work a freaking farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, same.
You stole it.
That's
from
okay.
me. I actually also thought about this while re-listening to our episode with Tyler. When the Suldam heard that she was going to be given to the Aes Sedai.
Right.
Wanted to die. She'd rather die
than
go do the punishment that Rand set for her. And that was exactly Kolavir to me. And I thought about that by myself listening to it. And I thought, I should have said that. So I'm saying it now.
There we go. Okay.
Lots of similarities. Okay. So now that Suroth is here with her two Dakoval.
Yep.
And her voice of the blood, there is somebody who's trying to come into the tent, a messenger who has a message but is being turned away because there are these Death Watch guards, and he thinks to himself, how urgent of a message is he missing right now, because they're trying to get past Death Watch guards.
It's got to be really important, and it probably is because Rand.
Right.
Yeah.
Rand is doing stuff.
Yeah.
Now, he also notices the odd behavior of the Dakoval. That goes on and on and on. And then we get Alwyn telling Liandrin to, get down. Because Liandrin is pouty.
Yeah.
She's sulky.
And Alwyn notices Mirage, seeing Liandrin be a butthole.
Sulky.
Because they're clearly not, properly trained as,
No, they're not
Damani
doing
yet.
what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
No, and obviously Liandrin isn't acting as a Damani at this moment.
So it must be relatively new, probably?
It's possible.
Okay.
Do you want me to speculate? Because this is going to end right away.
Yeah. Yeah,
Should
sure.
I speculate on how Liandrin got to this position?
Okay, sure.
I mean, and that's it, I guess, assuming that we get how Leandrin got to this position.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if I know Robert Jordan, and I feel as though I know him pretty well at this point, we never get it explained.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that this is something that we all can just comfortably speculate on, unless one day, in a few books from now, Moghedien and Leandrin happen to be in some confrontation in the future, which would actually be great. That would be cool. I think Leandrin tied up in knots, because I was trying to remember the last time we saw her.
Yeah.
Right? She was all tied up, shielded.
Yeah.
In a bajillion knots that Moghedien sent for her.
Yep.
And then, literally right away, Moghedien was captured by Nynaeve.
Yes.
And so Moghedien was gone, and Leandrin and those Black Aja were sort of left to their own devices at that point.
Okay.
And it was somewhere in, like, where Amadicia, towards Gildan.
Yep.
In that kind of area.
Yep.
And so if now Seanchan have come in and invaded, found her there, super shielded, did they unweave her shield?
Well, that's what the happy little accident is. So a little callback for ya. Back at the initial meeting between Suroth and Leandrin, because Leandrin was the one who brought Egwene, Nynaeve, Elaine to Suroth initially.
Yes, in book 2.
In book 2.
Yes.
That was like the initial meeting.
Yes.
And then they only ended up capturing Egwene.
Yes.
And then Leandrin and Suroth have like this little argument about bringing 2 girls.
Yes.
And then Leandrin's like, hey, I brought 3, but you let 2 go. And Suroth says, I can still return with 2, implying like, hey, I'm just going to take you. And then she's like, well, you don't want to, make our master angry, whatever. But they have like this really super coded conversation. And Suroth says, all Mareth Damani will be leashed eventually. Perhaps I will be the one who places the collar around your lovely throat.
Right.
And then Leandrin's like, as you say, Suroth, our master's needs will change. I will remind you of it on the day when you kneel to me.
Okay.
So from the beginning, Suroth and Leandrin had like this little showdown. And it seems like Suroth maybe stumbled on Leandrin, super shielded.
Stumbled on, or was led to.
Yeah.
Because we know for a fact, I'm still stuck on the fact that what's-her-face from the Aiel camp was set free.
Okay.
Karina? Something like that?
Katarina, yeah.
Yeah, so she was set free, and I think that was some kind of dark friend.
Yeah, escape plan.
Forsaken.
Okay.
Dark One plot to get her free. And so the next thing I'm thinking is maybe it wasn't a happenstance stumble.
Yeah.
And maybe it was a go get her, here's where she is.
Yeah.
She's disappointed us in.
Well, Suroth literally says to her too, small failures bring small costs and great failures bring painfully great costs.
Yes.
And she says that not specifically to Leandrin, but she's saying it to Leandrin.
Yes.
So that very well could be that too, so.
Interesting.
But it's such a funny...
I just wanted that callback because I thought, like, ooh, this would be kind of cool if this was the last time we ever saw from her. But of course not. I should have known better.
Terrible people.
When was that? That would have been Fires of Heaven? I was so naive
around
3
there.
books ago.
Yeah, I mean, and in The Great Hunt.
I would never, even now, in book 8, say the words, we're done with this character.
Never
know.
Never.
I've learned so much since then. I've learned.
You're at the stage where you know that you don't know. Yes. That's a good stage to be at.
Yeah. Because I thought I knew.
It's the path to true wisdom.
Lifelong learner.
There you go.
Here I am.
Okay.
Yeah. I also thought about how funny it is that we're in the middle of this, decade-long literature review.
Yeah.
And if me from first year university could see me now, I hated anything literature. I really could not stand doing anything like this.
Yeah. Well, you didn't get to drink at the same time probably too, right? Like there's a...
Yes.
There's different things we're doing here.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny.
No, you can't just relate everything to Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
I wouldn't even recognize myself doing a literature review. This is just so funny for me.
Yeah, I can't say the same. It's pretty
No, this is right on brand for you.
There
This is exactly what you'd like for your entire life. So you're welcome. Okay, where are we? We're still so early in this chapter. It's stupid.
They haven't even really said anything yet. It's just like Mirage is looking at Suroth and the weird people going like, oh,
we had to talk about Leandrin, though.
No, I know. She's back. for
that
now.
was a big deal. BFD over here.
Yep.
All right, so finally Suroth asks, are you ready to march? And he's like, yep, I will be, because the enemy won't be able to combine their troops in less than 10 days, because check out this map.
Yeah.
It'll be at least another 10 before they can exit the mountains.
Yeah.
And he notes in his brain that Suroth eyes the map and her eyes tighten. And he thinks, yeah, it sucks. She's right to be angry about this. But what she says will flip everything on its head.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Okay.
And now I have several times this chapter where I have proof of my dark friends in the Ashaman existence.
Okay, go.
Proof of it.
Go.
So, Suroth specifically saying, hey, moron, turns out they're traveling. The ancient form of traveling has been rediscovered, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They could be here today if they wanted to be, and they probably will come. Plus, they have 50 of these Ashaman, and she knows the word.
Okay.
And then she says, but no more than 5,000 to 6,000 soldiers, and that's all they've ever had since the beginning of this.
Yeah, so it's not 40,000.
No.
It's not 90,000.
No.
It's 5,000.
Yes.
And 50 Ashaman.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Now.
How does she know that?
How does she know these exact numbers?
Well,
how
okay.
does she know the name Ashaman?
Number one rule is never give up your sources, and she doesn't give up her sources.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because her sources are Ashaman, who are dark friends.
Interesting, okay.
Because she is also a dark friend.
Gotcha.
Which we can't forget in this scenario.
That's true.
So
That's
it's
true.
either her, quote, master telling her this information, who might very well be Demandred.
Okay.
Who might also have Ashaman reporting to him.
Well, here's the thing, but it doesn't seem like Taim knows what Rand's plan is, because Rand just probably said, hey, bring me this many people.
If we think Taim doesn't know the plan, we're stupid.
Or it's got to be someone within the Ashaman locally here.
Absolutely.
So.
But if you think that, not you, me.
Sure.
If I think
Yeah.
there are dark friends among the Ashaman who don't have an explicit, Black Aja title.
Yeah.
Reporting to Suroth? No. We have dark friends reporting to Taim.
But you're still working on the assumption that Taim is Demandred.
Well, no. That's just part... of course I am, because that's what's right.
Okay.
But...
okay.
Even if they're not, and they're just reporting to whoever their master is, who's also reporting to Suroth, for example. There's a network here.
There is.
It doesn't
it seems like there definitely
really
is.
matter at this point, but for sure, these dark friends are with Rand. These Ashaman dark friends are here with Rand, sharing the information. Because the only people who would, in fact, 100% know this information about the traveling, about the Ashaman, about the exact numbers, about what they're doing, what they've had since the beginning, is people who've had to be with Rand since the beginning.
So I like it. Quick question to clarify what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
Because in the Ashaman from the tower, we've got the two top dogs, Gedwin and Rochade, who are kind of
both Black Aja.
Both jerk faces.
Black dark friends.
Yeah. So are they? So you're thinking both of them at the top, or is that
Probably,
like a red herring situation where it's like, oh, only one of them's evil, both evil, and then the rest of like the
this
50,
is like a Katarina Galina situation. I think
they can both be evil.
They both can be
cool,
and they also can both be dicks at the same time.
They can be mean and they can be bad.
Yes, exactly.
And then the rest of the 50, is it like a total corruption situation, or is it like a
I haven't
couple
been
bad
introduced
guys?
to them yet.
Yeah,
so I
we don't really
to make judgment call on that.
Okay, I like that you're not like,
because I think that Taim at this point, who is probably in fact Demandred, would be
just because you say it more doesn't mean it's gonna be more true.
skillful about who is being sent where.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's kind of like the Black Aja situation where no more than 3 can know about each other at any point.
Sure.
It seems similar.
Okay.
Because Forsaken all work the same way. The same stupid way, but I feel like that would be similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's proof number 1.
Okay,
I have
good.
at least 2 others this
I like
chapter.
it. I like it. Let's keep going then.
Okay, so we learn about the Shanshan's views about the Dragon Reborn
This
in
is
the next moment.
super big.
Which is really big because this is something they know about. We've talked about how the prophecies have yet to talk about the Shanshan.
Yeah.
But it feels like it should be part of it.
Well, and we talked about is like, do the Shanshan know about the prophecies? And turns out, yeah, but just a little bit different.
It's different. So, do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, okay, so turns out that they've known about the prophecies of the dragon since before Luther Pendrag began the consolidation, which makes sense because the prophecies of the dragon have been around basically since the last dragon.
Yes.
Like, they've been around the entire time, so it makes sense that Arthur Hawkwing's people would know about the prophecies. But the thing is, now they have it's in a corrupted form, and it's much different than our correct version. Our pure version.
Luther version.
Yeah. Like, okay, so now we can kind of see what's happening here.
Because their pure version says that the Dragon Reborn will serve the Crystal Throne.
Yes.
And now let me tell you, the first time that I read this, I thought it said the Dragon Reborn will serve on the Crystal Throne.
Oh, okay.
And then later he kind of clarifies and is like, of course the Dragon Reborn has to kneel to the Empress.
Yeah.
And is like, oh no, you guys are so wrong.
Interesting.
So wrong.
Well, who's that? And that's the thing about the prophecies is like, are they? Will he serve? Because who knows how the language is twisted.
I am somebody at this point in my read fully believe that all of the prophecies are true.
Okay, but
and
like
now,
in what context?
In what context? Because I think it might be more true to Rand and what the rest of the prophecies dictate.
Yeah.
Is that he will serve on the throne.
Ooh,
because
okay.
Let's look at the Aiel. Let's look at even Tyr. Let's look at the Sea Folk.
I mean, and we get this big emphasis on like, corrupted version, and clearly it's like they
altered it themselves.
Yeah, it's like they've been altered in some fashion.
If it said the Dragon Reborn will serve on,
yeah, it's like that sounds bad. No way,
that never could happen.
Yeah,
but serve the
easy fix.
Such an easy fix.
Yeah,
Let's
I like
write it that way.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thing, because we get a little bit about the Shanshan culture, and we get the Crystal Throne as like a capital, right? Capitalized Crystal Throne as a big thing. And we know that they have the Empress, and it's very like hierarchical. But there's a very important sentence structure that I'm going to repeat here so you can kind of think about this. So he thinks the Empress surely would want Althor sent to her so she could see what sort of man served her. So their plan is to take the Dragon Reborn,
package him up on a boat,
send him to Shanshan, so the Empress who's there can like view him from her Crystal Throne.
Yeah.
And he thinks there would be no difficulty with Althor once he'd knelt to her.
Yes. Because
few easily shook off the awe they felt kneeling before the Crystal Throne with the thirst to obey drying their tongues.
Yeah.
It's just like very, very strong language.
Yeah.
Which is like, why is he so confident that someone kneeling to the Crystal Throne would literally want to or have to obey?
Yeah, if it doesn't have to do with maybe the power
in
some way.
Well, we've heard of different like
compulsion.
We've heard of things from the Forsaken, like a binding chair. We've literally heard of different Terangrial because we had a whole conversation with Samuel and Grendel about like the Oath Rods, and it's like, we have Oath Rods and they're really good for channelers, but we also have other things called binding chairs also. So it's like is this whole conversation like what's actually happening here?
Yes.
About like why are they so easy, like why do we want to serve?
Well, yeah, because I do have to mention at this point every single time we're in a Shanshan perspective.
Yeah.
Even when we're in their head, that usually gives away quite a bit.
Yeah.
And when we're in their head, they say the Empress, may she live forever.
Like without always.
In their thought processes.
Yeah.
Like not even saying out loud. That's just like a given automatic whatever.
It's
and
pretty
it
strong.
Kind of feels compulsion-y.
It's a little bit too strong.
Yes.
A little bit too strong. So
just
like funny things to like think about.
I will tuck that nugget away for one day when this matters.
Yes. Which maybe never.
Shall we move on?
Maybe next chapter.
We have so much more to talk about.
We'll get there.
Move on.
We'll get there.
Okay, so Mirage thinks about the battle ahead of him now, because he's been in fights with Damani on both sides, and he doesn't know if the Suldam can see what a man can channel is doing.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, Suldam kind of know the ways of the Damani. They're so excellent at what they do.
Just came in and dropped the ball on this commander who's got to formulate like an attack strategy here.
And so he's like, listen, cool. We're gonna fight, I guess.
Can I have Damani?
Can I have Damani?
Can I have them?
But then he specifically says, if they're still sick, it'll be a short fight and we're not gonna win.
Yeah, because he also knows what it's like going up against Damani without Damani of your own.
Even saying the Damani is sick is a risky thing.
It is.
But Suroth smiles and pats Leandrin and says that he will have the Damani that he wants, and his job is to wipe these Ashaman from the face of the earth, all of them. Yeah. And Mirage is like, okay, I will then.
So, I mean, and that's an interesting thought process, too, because we know Suroth is a Dark Friend, and it's like, if the Ashaman are, like, also Dark, like, why are we having Dark Friends competing against Dark? Like, I feel like they should be in cahoots then.
Most, yes. Maybe.
Okay. Again, but also, not all Dark Friends are on the same side. So,
no, and I mean the orders that Suroth is giving might be leading her people into devastation on purpose.
True.
Because she might have different motives.
Yeah.
And we've seen that before, specifically with Jacob Carradine, for example.
Not all Dark Friends.
As a Dark Friend has different motives than White Cloaks.
Yep, that's fair.
Right?
It's like, whose orders are we really working on right now?
Exactly.
Remember that viewing we had of, like, the strings, people dancing on strings way up into the darkness?
Not really, no.
Oh, it's like all the time.
That seems stupid, but yes.
Yeah. It was one of those Min viewings, I think.
All right, well, that's the end of this chapter, and I think it's...
Nope.
Perspective.
Yep.
Is the end of this perspective.
Not there yet.
Whatever. Feels that way.
Yeah.
End of this perspective. I'm going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And then you have to take one along with me.
Oh, I know.
I just need a minute.
Okay.
And then we'll come right back. Okay. So back with a perspective change into Rand. And this is good. This is where we get the dragon things happening.
Yeah, we're getting things going here.
So Rand is watching his army coming out of gateways into a new area. And Luz Theron is panting uncertainly or maybe fearfully.
Yes. Yep. Because last chapter he was like chuckling, he was like, whatever, giggling.
No, he was mad laughter about the whole Abu Dar situation.
Right.
But because after almost dying yesterday, maybe Luz Theron isn't that keen on dying anymore. We're not quite sure, but he still likes ranting about killing.
Yeah, that's true.
So now,
also killing himself sometimes.
Yeah, now Rand touches the long-clothed, wrapped package still on his horse and thinks, no, not time yet, maybe not at all. And then things started it was in my mind.
Yeah.
Now at this point.
For sure.
Because I think it really hadn't been on my mind for a little while. Like last chapter, we almost went through without even...
I know, I tried to highlight it at the end, so...
It was too little too late.
I know. Yeah. Well, we got the whole thing with Narishma, and then the secret mission, and then coming back with it.
Oh, no, we got that, but that wasn't last chapter.
I know.
Yeah, that was 2 episodes ago for me.
That was the build-up, and then that's why I brought it up last chapter.
And then last time, it sort of was like medium. It didn't really come up, but now it was like, oh, this is something. So then we get a description of the hills they're in, and the soldiers and the Ashaman holding gateways open. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So now Bashir comes up the slope and takes a look at these 2 A ladies.
Yeah.
Anyla and Anyla or something.
Yeah, Aelil. Yeah.
A-Lily and Lalila.
Exactly. There you go.
Whatever.
I've told you, they're the same and it doesn't matter.
Does it?
They're always together.
Okay, if all the nobles are worried about him passing blame for the almost assassination thing.
Yeah.
Once all the nobles do some shuffling around to line up, Rand announces, about 10 miles from here, there's 50,000 men ready to march on us. There's no signs of Damani, but that's still enough to kill a lot of us if anybody charges off like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, looking at you, Weramon. Don't do it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't pick it up, but that's fine.
And then we get an outline of the whole plan that's happening.
Yeah. So the plan is basically 5 columns and then each column's going to have like Ashaman, and Rand's also going to split everybody up again to make sure they're all on their toes, and then you all come down on the Shanshan from every side all at once. Like, get them. Let's get them.
Okay, so can I tell you something? That's the plan.
Yep.
So this is my hesitantly proof number 2 that something bad is happening here.
Okay.
Now, it's not very good proof.
Okay.
But I'm sticking it on a pin on the murder board because it gave my gut such a hard time.
Okay, maybe like, by itself not great, but maybe in combination with other things.
Exactly.
Okay, what is it?
So Luce Theron goes off in Rand's head saying something is wrong, but it can't be wrong, but it is. Something strange, something wrong. It can't be. I must be mad, and then vanishes.
Okay.
And now in my head, I went, fuck.
Okay, so what?
My gut went, like I got like the dread feeling that, oh no, something really bad is about to happen.
Okay.
And this plan is a bad plan.
Well, I can definitely agree that it's a bad plan, but are we talking bad plan because of like Dark Friend stuff, or are you thinking this is...
It's hard to say, but specifically the really like bad feelings I got. So because I already read that Suroth and the Shanshans know about the Ashaman and know about Rand now.
Especially since here he's like, oh, there's no Damani so far. Yes. But we just saw Suroth be like, you'll have all the Damani you need.
Exactly.
That's definitely not a good thing.
No. And so I thought that this... I know for the most part, like Luce Theron is my buddy.
Sure.
But for the most part, the general public doesn't necessarily agree. But okay. I feel like I trust a lot of things he's saying. And maybe that's like my craziness.
Okay. You didn't kind of pair this up to like something being wrong with Sidene, because that is over and over again.
I
like,
mean,
something's wrong with Sidene.
Looking back on it, and on my second read, yes, maybe. Because right now I do kind of know something's wrong with Sidene, but it's not until later we get the absolute confirmation that that's what's happening here.
For sure. And
right,
you know what?
Now,
it can be both.
Yes.
Like, it can be both.
Yeah.
Luce Theron is, like, panting fearfully and all that stuff. And
something's wrong. It can't be wrong, but it is. Like, this kind of situation made me feel so uneasy about what's about to happen. I knew something bad was going to happen.
Yeah.
That was my feeling here. So now Rand tells everyone to get into position. No one's really happy about the groupings that they've been sorted into. And at this point, do we get a bunch of names?
Yeah, we get a lot of names about like who's going where, and it's not super important.
And I didn't pay attention to even a little bit of it, but then later when we get some perspectives of who's with who, so it kind of matters.
It only matters in those perspectives. The beforehand, it doesn't really matter. What is important is that like the Bertome perspective, he's with Weiramon, but like we get that in the perspective, so like none of that really matters too much. The important thing is that Rand thinks he can trust Bashir and Gregor and those two guys who are like against this entire battle plan.
And I think he's right about that.
That's probably good, and like don't trust everybody else. But then
Rand's column is in the middle.
Is the biggest. It's in the middle, and it's the biggest, and he's got the most firepower and the most soldiers. And he's got a combination of everybody.
Okay.
But like the rest of it doesn't actually really matter.
Okay. And now this is a really important side thing that happens here, where Dashiva pulls Rand off to the side.
Right, yeah.
Weaves a ward around them to protect against eavesdropping, and then Luce Theron goes a little nuts, trying to get the power away from Rand, but then fails and runs away. So, like,
the guy's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, things aren't going well.
No, and this is kind of like a last-ditch effort, it almost feels like, from Dashiva, because all the Ashaman are literally, like, all on the same page with this kind of thing.
So he's like, listen, there's something off about Sidene here, and can I just tell you, I am so in love with this effective communication.
Oh, yeah. Well,
let's talk to somebody about exactly what we're thinking and feeling.
Oh yeah, he lays it out. He's like,
perfect.
He
says,
very
listen,
clearly.
buddy, there's something wrong with Sidene. I don't know what it is. There was something yesterday, but it was small. But here it's different. Sidene is eager. It pulses here. It's difficult to control. This is bad. But I love Rand's entire... He's a fucking moron.
Oh man, yeah. He's so frustrating.
He's a dummy. He's a dumb dummy. And he says, oh, sweet little idiot.
Yeah.
You're just,
Deshiva, you're just
you don't
new.
even know.
You're just new to this.
I've been channeling for longer than you. And you know what? This just happens. You're feeling the taint more.
It's the taint.
And it's like, Rand,
like,
number
no,
one,
man.
you don't know.
Also, they've all talked to him about it basically already. But
not in these direct
not
terms.
in this. Like, good, like, slow clap for Deshiva. Effective communication, almost. Like, it almost works.
I would say it does work.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay.
It works in the sense that Rand knows there's a problem that's not just him.
Oh, but then, yeah.
But then he takes the information and uses it in a wrong way.
Yeah, Deshiva has a 2-part plan. His first part is like, hey, something's wrong. And his second part is like, let's not do this fight. Let's go home.
Right, his second part sucks.
His second part fails.
Because, yeah. So Deshiva pushes back and says, come on, even you can feel it. Look at my weave. I don't want to get burned out or die because you're stupid and blind. Look at my word.
And Rand's best
and Rand
reaction
stares
is
at
like,
him is like,
whoa.
Deshiva with a temper?
So,
weird.
Weird, crazy,
so
man.
then he does look at it because I really thought in this moment Deshiva was going to be like, oh, I tried. And then the normal give up and not communicate further situation.
Yeah. He's really pushing.
But he does. He pushes it and it's good. And then Rand looks and it is weird. It's pulsing. It's vibrating.
Yeah.
And now...
That's why it's like, okay, we got him to...
You kept talking about Rand and his illness thing.
Yeah.
That's happening after his balefire incident in Shatter Logoth.
Sure.
However, because it is affecting everybody, specifically only around Abu Dar, and it's like the weaves are vibrating and pulsing, I have to still believe that this is repercussions from what Elaine did picking apart weaves.
Oh, with the gateway.
With the gateway.
Interesting.
Because if I picture somebody's knitting,
sure,
and I don't really know how to knit, but I know that there are lots of threads that come together to form one knitted piece. And if you pick apart in the middle of that thing, the rest of the weaves are not going to do very well.
Yeah, but she did that with a gateway which only used Sidar, and what does that have to do with Sidene?
I don't know, but the Bowl of the Winds also used Sidene.
Yeah.
So, because they were within hours of each other...
It's tough to say.
It really feels like an Elaine thing, but you're right. There is no Sidene there.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really make sense.
If anything, it's like the amounts of Sidene that was used... but not actually used.
Affected it, sort of.
It's weird, because that is clearly happening to the women, too.
The women are affected,
and it's
too.
locally around Abu Dar very strongly.
Okay, so we have Elaine pulling apart Weave's situation that exploded.
Sure.
And we also have Bowl of the Winds being used in Abu Dar's situation.
Yeah.
So, within hours of each other.
Yeah.
No matter what, that is the cause.
Okay.
One of them, something's happening here.
For sure.
Now, Rand's other thing that's happening isn't necessarily
he's got a lot of conditions going on, so...
Yeah, so Rand's other dizziness thing doesn't seem to be a part of this, and that does seem different.
Okay.
So...
You gotta separate what's coming from where.
I don't even know what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening.
This plot
we're gonna go fight the Shanshan.
Okay.
Because Rand's like, you know what, man? I get it. Yep.
He looks a little more inwards. He's like, yeah,
crazy
this is
stuff.
bad.
Yeah.
But it's not quite like Shatter Logoth. It's different than that.
Yeah.
All the other Ashaman are getting a little twitchy. But Rand's like, oh, good. It's not madness after all. It's just this weird taint thing.
And it seems like Deshiva almost thinks that he convinced Rand to, turn around and go home. Because he gives, that smile, ha, I did it. I convinced him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then immediately, nope.
Yeah, because Rand does say, you know what, I know it's a little weird, but the weaves do form eventually.
I know they say it's hard, but it's always hard.
But, try harder.
Yeah.
How about? Sidene is always hard to control. And at least it still does what you want. So get ready, because we're still doing this effing thing.
Also, it's been, 6 days, and Deshiva has told Rand that you are holding the power
every
day and night for, half a week here, man.
Yeah.
That can't be good. We know that holding the power too much is also bad.
Yeah. All right. Rand also thinks to himself, why is it more difficult here? But then he also thinks to himself, no time for that now.
Yeah.
And then we move on.
There we go. We got to do this. We gotta blast the Shanshan out of Ebudar forever and ever.
Except here's the deal. A scout shows up to tell Rand that the Shanshan are not camped 10 miles away. They're actually 5 miles away and marching eastward on them. And they have tons of Damani all of a sudden.
Yep, not good.
And so Rand issues his orders and everyone starts forming up and he thinks nothing has changed to alter the plan.
Except everything, man.
Literally
everything has changed.
Everything has
All
changed.
the things have changed.
Because you didn't think that there were Damani. You thought they were 5 miles away further than they were, so you can't get everybody into position that you want them to be in time.
Yeah.
And
Tydene's all messed up.
all messed
Like,
up,
come
so
on.
your Ashaman attack is going to be off.
Yeah.
But Luce Theron says, madness waits for some, and it creeps up on others.
Yeah, thanks, Luce Theron.
Thanks, Luce
Yay.
Theron. And then we get
Okay.
a perspective change
Yeah, we do.
to Mirage.
Back to him.
Back to Mirage. Back in the Shanshan commander's head. And his army is marching east, and clearly been marching for hard for a while. They covered
We gotta move.
a lot of ground.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get it done.
He's specifically not at the front because that's not a good way to lead, and it's a good way to get yourself dead.
Yeah, you park yourself right around the middle, front middle-ish. There you go.
And that's where you get dead.
Yeah, that's where you get not dead. The front's where you get dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's not at the front because that's where you get dead.
Get dead at the front. Yep. Also
Okay.
the back and maybe
Now,
the sides.
he does have a man with him named Yulin, which is important for later.
Yep.
My first read, it didn't matter,
Yulin
but now
is
it
captain of
matters.
the
It
air.
matters, everybody.
Yeah, and also why they're angry, because he's got 2 people with him and they're both unsettled for different reasons. So Yulin's the captain of the air, so he's in charge of all the raking and stuff. All the
and
flyers.
Suroth has ordered that there be no flyers in the sky.
Yeah, they've
'Cause
already lost a
that would
ton.
tip off.
And also they've lost a bunch and they don't have unlimited supplies of these beasts.
Yeah.
And they are really important for what they do and how the Shanshan function. And we know they've already lost a bunch to Rand, right? Bashir was
Yeah.
super excited about all of them, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and the other woman is Lysane?
Yes.
Lysane?
Insane.
Lysane, okay.
Yep.
And she's the one in charge of all the Suldam and Damani. And we know that there's something going on with them right now, so...
Everybody seems very unsettled.
Yep, definitely.
Now, a scout on a Torm.
Yeah, the coppery bronze cat thing.
Uh-huh.
We talked about that last time. That's the new one that we finally got a name for.
We got a name for that guy.
Yeah, they're bad in battle because they go crazy and kill everything. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait. So they show up, and Mirage sends a guy to get the report.
Who's important, because that's the guy we get later.
Yes, this is Varric.
Varric, yeah, that's the perspective we get right away.
Ooh, okay.
Well, in a couple, yeah.
In a couple, yeah, okay. But Varric is the messenger who says the enemy is less than 5 miles to the east, and we just heard from Rand that the enemy's 5 miles away.
Yep.
This guy says that the enemy is marching in on our direction, and they're in 5 columns spaced a mile apart.
Yeah.
And that is Rand's plan.
That's the battle plan.
That's exactly what's happening here.
Yep.
Now, I do have to just note, I love the back and forth perspective here.
Yeah.
This is something so interesting that is so rarely written, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I know I haven't read a lot of fantasy and things, but I just have to imagine that this back and forth perspective of either side of the enemy force just... It feels so unique and so interesting, but so cool because we've seen lots of battles. And I'm really on edge thinking about this kind of thing because we did just do our bonus episode all on battles.
Yeah.
Where we haven't necessarily gotten the back and forth like this before.
Well, and this is a unique fight.
Good. Interesting good.
Yeah. It's a very unique fight too, because I mean, from beginning to end, you don't really know how well it's, even though you're getting like the different perspectives, you're seeing the losses on both sides.
Yeah.
And at the very end, there's not like a clear winner.
No.
Because there isn't a clear winner.
Because it's war.
Because it's war. And it's not like, oh, we took the city, we took Ilion, we took Camelin, we killed the bad guys. Here it's like, yeah, we all kind of lost a lot of people. Let's go home now. After crazy things happen. Like, yeah, it's not.
It's might be, and specifically after just talking about every battle we've basically seen.
Yeah.
This might be like the most realistic.
I feel like it's very realistic. And
I know we've seen a lot of like realism and touching on the war experience, but the back and forth here is something else. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's emotion pulling.
I mean, consider that in every book, we talked about battles from literally every book.
Yeah.
And at the end of each of those battles, there's like definitive, yep, winners. We won and we took this location or we killed this bad guy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this is like really the first time we haven't really gotten that. And that makes it a little bit of a tough, fight to talk about too.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, because we do have Mirage wondering how he's supposed to fight 40,000 soldiers, because in his brain he still thinks that's how many are here.
Yeah,
no
like it doesn't
Surat
connect.
says,
like that doesn't make sense that there can only be,
because he only has 5,000 himself and 50 Damani, and everyone starts forming up for battle, and the Suldam and Damani start vanishing into the trees, and
yeah, and that we kind of see that as the battle plan. Like we see the Shanshan dip into the forest, and now the Shanshan and like the Damani are all hiding in the trees, and we can kind of see how that plays out later on from our side's perspective too.
Yes.
It gets messy.
Okay, so let's jump into our next perspective. We have Bertome.
Yep.
Who is riding with his group.
Yeah.
And now...
This is the guy who's in the group with Wiramon.
Did I know that, though, before this perspective?
Yes.
Because this was new to me. This guy was new to me.
Yeah, so it's not new. We got him in Wiramon's column. They're all in the same column, marching to the location. And we got Gedwin in this.
Now, I know for sure that he is Kyrian because he doesn't like the ungainly tallness of everybody else.
Yeah, because Kyrian are shorter.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I haven't heard that term since the beginning of the books.
Okay, yeah.
Because Moraine, who is 5'0" like me,
yep,
makes Rand feel ungainly in his tallness. And I remember in our very first episode where we met Moraine that I said, I only hope in my life to make other people feel ungainly in their tallness.
I'm sure you do.
I doubt it.
Maybe someone, I don't know.
I always feel too short.
But there we go. So yeah. So we did know about this person. We know about this column. Nothing weird is going on with the people in the column for like who's here because this is the plan. Right.
Okay. But Bertome does think that he doesn't like how Wiramon is talking to Gedwin, who's one of the Ashaman, because he thinks, we tolerate that monster. But then, before we can talk about, quote, that monster, Bertome calls out to one of the other Kyrian to come over.
Yeah.
Dorison, who's looking very anxious.
Yeah.
And he says, you realize the Lord Dragon means us to die, right? I've known I was a dead man since he killed Colavir.
Yeah, so clearly...
right.
I mean, he's on edge,
and
which is fair.
And then Bertome says this is a pretty elaborate plan just to kill us.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't have sent those fellows in the black coats if we were just going to die.
Yeah, and that's a fair point.
Is true. And then we also get this whole side note about how Colavir is like Bertome's favorite cousin.
They're all cousins.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But...
it's fine.
Now, Bertome decides he needs to talk to Wiramon, so he goes up to the conversation that Wiramon and Gedwin are having. And now, can I just tell you that this conversation and the way it cuts off for me is proof number 3.
Interesting. So
that
I thought...
there is a
I thought this would be one of
happening.
Them. But I do want to talk about that, because let's talk about what they actually... They're clearly in a disagreement about what's supposed to be happening
Okay,
here.
so Wiramon says, I don't care who you are, I won't take more risk without a command direct from the lips of And this is clearly from Weirmon's perspective.
Sure.
He did pick up on the fact that he effed up.
Okay.
And that he isn't going to do anything against Rand's orders again.
Okay.
And so if Gedwin wants him to do something against Rand's orders here,
sure,
Weirmon is saying no.
Okay. So Weirmon won't do anything without a direct command from the lips of Rand.
Okay. That's what it feels like.
So Gedwin wants Weirmon to do something
against Rand's orders.
And you think Gedwin is for sure a dark friend. Messing with the plan.
Yes.
Okay. So that's why, and Weirmon's like final response at the end, he says, kill whoever you want, wherever you want, I'm going to do what I do, and that's that. So, like, the end note of Weirmon's conversation is like, whatever, right? Like, you do you, I'm doing me, man. So, okay.
Yes.
Are we still, so we understand Weirmon is like, stupid and incompetent or whatever?
To an extent.
Okay.
But he's clearly not so stupid, because him saying, I don't care who you are.
Are you accusing Weirmon of anything like super nefarious?
No, Weirmon, no.
I'm just confused by what you're like, because it's like Gedwin and Weirmon. That's what I'm.
No.
Okay.
If anything, Gedwin thinks he can convince Weirmon to do something because Weirmon appears to be an idiot.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
And Weirmon's saying, actually, no, I got in a lot of trouble last time.
Yeah. And now he's like on very specific orders not to do that again.
Not to ride off and go against the orders?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. That clarified for me what you think.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So this for me was proof that Gedwin specifically wants to go against Rand's orders. Now, there are a few schools of thought.
Basically, there's two schools of thought.
Yes.
Okay.
My first one is Gedwin's a dark friend, and he wants the plan to go differently so that it disrupts whatever, and whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever Forsaken he's working for, whatever the dark one wants, whatever.
Lord of Chaos said, screw it up.
Maybe.
Mess with the plan.
Maybe that's still the plan. That feels part of it. Also, there is a side portion of me, maybe like 20% of me that thinks
it's not very much.
No, it's probably less actually.
Considering 60% of you is water. That doesn't leave a lot of room.
Okay, of my decided, brain power at this point, probably less than 20% of me thinks that Gedwin is just trying to get them to pull back to save himself. Because maybe he is just very, narcissistic and knows that the power won't do what he wants it to do.
This plan is super dangerous, too.
It's a dangerous plan. Maybe it's just this is all about me and I don't want to burn out or die situation.
Yeah.
That's potentially, probably what most people would do in this situation. However, what he has been recruited to do is be a soldier for the Dragon Reborn, and he shouldn't be questioning the Dragon Reborn's
orders and commands. I get it.
Even if the Dragon Reborn is clearly very nuts.
Gotcha.
Now, that's why it leads me to believe that Gedwin is acting on other Dark Friendy orders.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Super alert on Gedwin.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Bertome is here because this is what he wrote up on.
Yeah.
And they realize he's here, so they shut up really quickly. Bertome thinks with a bit of a shock that they both look like they want to kill him.
Yeah, like he really just kind of walked up on this conversation.
Weirmon puts on a big dumb smile and says a bunch of really rude things to Bertome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, about him strangling Colavir, like Rand strangling Colavir.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, and I heard that he's going to do the same thing. Yeah, he's going to get you.
All right, so now before they have time to even talk, another scout comes up saying that there's 2,000 Terrabonners coming up fast. And they have Damani with them, and it's pretty much going to happen immediately, so...
And then it does happen immediately.
The sound of an army is charging in, and Weirmon tells Gedwin, I use the methods I used to kill a bunch of people, you use your methods, that's that, then there's battle cries, and then it's fighting time.
Yeah, here we go.
Alright, and then we get a perspective change.
Yeah.
To a Shanchen guy.
Varric, this is the under lieutenant...
The
messenger guy. Yeah.
So let's take a quick break because this is actually taking a much longer time to talk about than I anticipated. Actually, that's not true. I knew this would be a good one. But we'll be right back. Okay, back with Varric, the Shanshan messenger guy.
Yeah, he's an under lieutenant. He's not just a messenger.
Oh.
He's moderately important.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so the armies are clashing in the trees. There's sounds of battle and screaming and channeling. There's a bunch of battle cry for houses, and Varric finishes killing a guy, and it's quiet around him for a second. And then he sees dozens of Altarans close by. Those are the ones with
just 1 dozen.
The slashes of his chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just 1 dozen, not dozens.
Just a dozen Altaran soldiers. So it's guys on his side, but they're the idiot guys with the cross on their chest or the slash because they're new. So.
Okay, and he thinks, well, no wonder those guys suck.
Yeah.
But he's about to go.
Yeah, he's gonna group up with them.
Group up with them.
Yeah. So he has to deliver a message. He's supposed to deliver a message to one of the banner generals.
Messenger guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he is, but he's not just a messenger, but he has a message to deliver to a banner general. So he's like, hey, I'm going to go group up with these dozen guys who aren't doing anything right now, and they should be because I might have a better chance of surviving.
But then he sees, immediately, they all get killed by crossbow bolts.
Yeah, exactly.
Bolts. Yes.
Yep, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good that he didn't go.
Yeah, Varric thinks about how at first he thought the guys with crossbows would be stupid and easy to kill because they don't have pikes.
Yeah, big old pointy sticks.
Yes, we know about those by now.
Yep.
But they've been very deadly so far, turns out.
Yeah.
And it's not even the worst of what he's seen, because about half an hour ago, he saw 100 Terrabonners face off against 1 man in a black coat, and they were all literally ripped to shreds faster than he could count.
Yeah, and very literally he thinks about actually, which is interesting because usually the Damani, he's been around people who use the power in battle, but usually the Damani at least leave enough of a body to be buried. But the Ashman just blow you up.
Yep.
There you go. That's how we do it.
We did have that discussion before about the blowing up the earth versus blowing up people.
The actual people, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Varric sees another group of soldiers ahead. It's all pretty chaotic at this point.
Yeah, well, the next group of soldiers he does come up to and gets to is actually he goes to look for directions to find the general guy he's looking for, but it turns out that general guy is here, but he's dead.
Okay.
And that's why it's a little chaotic right now.
It's super chaotic because there's also somebody yelling at a Suldam who's soothing her Damane.
Yeah.
And then Varric is what's happening here?
Yeah.
Apparently a group of soldiers came on them in a surprise attack. And at first things were going well.
Yeah, because they didn't have any, again,
of the black
this
coats.
Is from the perspective of the Shanshan, so they were surprise attacked, but that troop didn't have any
black
Ashaman.
coats, yeah.
Exactly. But the Damani ended up lightninging everybody.
Channeled lightnings.
Yep. Lightning.
And the lightning hit the enemies, but then it started hitting their own men too.
And that's why they're all burned corpses right now.
But the problem is the Suldam gets up real fast and starts defending her Damani.
Yeah.
Saying that she's a good Damani who would never do this on purpose.
Because that would be a serious, huge issue.
Crime. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
very bad. And Damani are very valuable, obviously.
And also very meek.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But if she's actually trying to murder Shanshan troops, that would be a big no-no. So
right.
Anyways.
Now, my first thought process on this, number one, the weirdness in the power.
Yep.
Not letting it do what you want it to do. But my second thing was Ashaman being here, just that nobody saw. And then the Damani's getting blamed for it.
They took off their black coats or
No,
somebody else?
behind a tree.
Oh, hiding. Okay.
Behind trees and stuff.
Okay.
Not necessarily out in the open.
You're really just not wanting to buy this whole weirdness with the power thing.
Well, I mean,
you're deflecting it a lot.
I'm
not
just trying to come up with some other explanations that aren't the explicitly obvious.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
Because
that's fair.
the explicitly obvious, let's just go for it. But
because
at the same time,
the Damani haven't been channeling for a long
thinking,
time, so
I'm always thinking about the second other thing.
Okay.
And for the Suldam to be defending the Damani, which means she also feels how weird the power is. That's that
for
big
sure.
part.
Well, the Suldam and Damani have been on edge for a long time now.
I know,
so.
But I'm also thinking that maybe also Ashaman, but they weren't expecting it to be as crazy.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
probably the first thing. I like to think of secondary things it could be also.
Just in case, so you get partial
For
marks.
fun, because in case anyone wants to write the secondary, my version
yes.
of the Wheel of Time.
Yes.
Where
Over 1 billion copies sold.
Out, and everyone gets lightning by Asherman always.
Hiding behind trees specifically. Yeah. You jump out and you lighten and then you jump back.
No, you don't even have to jump out.
You disguise yourself as a tree.
If you're Rand later, you don't even have to be behind a tree.
That's true. You just get it all. There you go. Okay. Jumping the gun there.
Okay, so Varric tries to calm things down before this Suldam just like murders this soldier for speaking against her Damane, and he says they don't have time for any of this. He's taking command now. It's time to retreat. It's time to go.
Yeah, because he was trying to find this dead general to be like, hey, we gotta go.
Yes.
But now he's got to go find somebody else to like take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something here. So the Terraboner soldier that starts pushing back doesn't want to disengage. Everyone is scattered right now, and he says, I don't even know where all my men are in this jolly bag.
Yeah.
And then
what's a jolly bag?
Varric ignores him and thinks to himself, I don't even know what a jolly bag is.
Did you look up what a jolly bag is?
I did.
Oh my goodness, I didn't.
What is your prediction on what a jolly bag means? I'll tell you my prediction before I looked it up.
A jolly bag?
Yeah.
So, a bad situation.
Oh, no. So, I can't find my men in this jolly bag.
Yeah, this like crazy forest jungle warfare, you know. I have no idea what jolly bag means.
Goodie
bag of treats.
Yeah, here in Canada.
Yeah.
When you go to a birthday party, you come home with a loot bag.
Or a goodie bag.
It has some it's like a mishmash of things.
Yeah, sucker, a little kid's tattoo thingy, stickable,
toys, whatever.
A toy, a top, whatever.
Yeah. If you go to Urban Dictionary,
oh no,
and I wouldn't recommend it.
That's not the place to go.
A jolly bag is a condom.
No.
Oh yes, it is. Originated around the 80s. A bag that's put over your penis to have fun with.
Oh man.
Hence a jolly bag.
You know what? There's probably some. Yeah. Okay.
It's a jolly bag.
I assume it's like it started as like a military term.
And it's not just Urban Dictionary.
Oh, man.
There are many.
No.
Yeah, if you just type in what is a jolly bag, like, don't do it. It's just a bunch of definitions of a condom. So there's that.
Okay.
Which is a fun fact. Now, you want to talk about a fun fact?
That's a fun fact.
Do it. It's a jolly fact.
That is, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yep. No, I think you win.
Yeah, I win the funnest fact.
That is the best.
Not quite as good as like a god holding its penis, but
that's not. Yeah, that's
close.
True. You know what? Because I did do military slang as a fun fact.
Yeah.
Jolly bag didn't make it in there.
No, I thought like, I can't find all my men in this chaos. That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
In this condom.
Oh man.
Nope. My favorite is when Varric is like, I don't even know if I should ask what a jolly bag is. I was like, don't.
It's like, don't Google
do it,
man.
Varric.
Don't do it. Oh wow.
That's good.
That is good. That's okay. Okay.
I'm surprised. I thought this was one of those things that we would have looked up together.
Yeah, maybe, but no, I didn't even. There was no time for that.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in all of that fun, this is devastation. Mirage is commanding that they immediately pull back. There's a pull-out joke here somewhere.
That makes a lot more sense with the jolly bag. Oh my goodness. Okay.
But we all gotta go. Varric thinks about needing to find someone else who's ranked above him so he can pass on this responsibility.
Well, that's a good idea. It's like somebody else. But it's funny because Gawain, after Dumai's Wells, he was like, I gotta find someone who's a higher rank because
really?
I don't want to get blamed for all this crap. Like, I gotta find some Aes Sedai who can take this.
That.
Yeah, because like you find a superior and the superior is gonna have to take the crap for it.
Yeah, because like
if you're the highest ranking person walking in the door, bad situation.
Yeah. Okay, you don't want the blame.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, he tells Asuldam, get your Damani soothed, because he's pretty sure that they'll be depending on her to the south. And clearly that's not what this Asuldam wants to hear because the blood drains from her face.
Yeah.
The power isn't working properly.
Power ain't working properly. That's the moral of the story here.
It really is.
It's bad.
Okay, and now we have another perspective change.
We do.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're getting there slowly. Because all these perspectives are pretty small, like very short.
They're small but important.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Snippets. Like, I imagine this is exactly how a movie or a TV show would be shot.
With a war, because it can't just show us.
Kind of showing us all different angles of what's happening around here. So Bashir is in the trees and frowning at the meadow that's in front of him because there's nobody there.
Yep.
But if they try to cross it, they could all just be dead immediately.
It's a good way to get killed because you're like right out in the open. Especially with the whole like Damani hiding in trees.
Ooh, yeah.
That's literally like the major issue about being visible.
And they've lost enough men to Damani already.
Yeah.
And now he's with Rochad.
The other Ashaman guy.
Definitely Dark Friend.
Okay,
guy.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, I both
yep.
who were sent, I fully believe are Dark Friends.
Okay. I'm not fighting you on that right now.
Okay. So he also looks worried and not as arrogant as usual, and it's for sure because of the Sidene situation. Just the power situation all around is throwing off all the channelers.
Yeah, I mean, when you can't do what you want.
And you know what's annoying is because all the channelers are thrown off, what I'm believing is also a little thrown off.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
Yeah, wrong information from our perspective, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Bashir pulls this guy aside and says, "Can I count on your people next time?" And number one, Bashir, your people? That's rude.
What do you mean, your people?
You can't just call that out like that.
Yeah, he does, though.
Yeah, but...
It's literally the Ashaman.
He's like, wonky. "Can I count on you and the Ashaman this time? No delays?" Because I guess they were hesitant. But also, if there is a separate Dark Friend plot to mess things up...
Sure.
This is a pretty convenient...
Well, every time they're encountering...
for me to be thinking that this is why.
Well, every time they're encountering the Damani, Bashir is noting that their response time is getting slower and slower. But in defense, and I gotta play a little bit of defense here, like they've been channeling for a while. Yeah. And also for days.
Facing the Damani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So channelers get exhausted. Like they might just literally getting fatigued from channeling so much.
No, I do. I understand that there is this this is written. It says the power's weird here. They're all feeling weird here. And it just feels to me...
We're not talking about the weirdness. We're talking about the delays.
Yeah. I think that they're hesitant and delaying in their attacks because they can't make Sidene do what they want it to do.
Okay.
But in the same breath, I'm just thinking, and maybe this is a Mogedi and Nynaeve Ebudar boat situation where I'm just looking for other explanations.
Yeah, you're getting too attached.
Obvious.
Yeah.
I'm getting too bogged down in the how is this a Dark Friend plot when it might not even remotely be.
Sure.
But I still believe it is somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think they have a Dark Friend plot, but I also think they're getting bogged down in the Sidene isn't doing what they want it to do. So now the fighting isn't going well. We get a bit of an outline of what's been going on. They've been fighting and running. But when they fight and run, they've been running to a chosen location to have the crossbows fire to where they're running.
Yeah, it's like you lure them into a bit of a trap.
This is exactly what Matt did in Kyrian.
Oh, okay.
Running and yelling about the Dragon Reborn or something like that, and then turning and running.
Yeah.
This is the hammer and the anvil kind of situation, right? Something like that?
Not quite the same, no. That was a little bit different.
Oh,
that was more. Yeah,
I'm just using terms I've heard
That was more
before.
like pinning the Shido against the walls of Kyrian and hitting them from both sides.
Oh.
Matt's perspective, like Matt's battle tactics.
But this did happen, right, with Couladin. This is exactly how he got it.
Well, the crossbows with the Legion men is literally Matt's plan.
With the crossbows.
The crossbows is Matt's plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt's the guy who pushed with the crossbows.
Yeah. But this for sure happened at one point.
With Matt, yeah.
With the attacking but then turning and running away.
Yeah, this is Matt's plan. This is Matt's tactic.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Are you impressed that I remember that?
Yeah, it's good.
Because that was good. Anything with Matt, I'm going to remember.
Yeah, where is that guy anyways? He's got to be pretty close by, right? So.
Well, yes. He does have to be close by. Let's figure that out by the end of this book.
Maybe.
That's my prediction here, right now. Let's get to Matt by the end of this book, everybody.
Well, you gotta bust through this chapter then.
Let's do it.
Gotta get there.
So things haven't been going well. Bashir gives the order that they're going to go around the meadow, tripling the scouts because he doesn't want to stumble on any Damani, and he can see that Rochad, who's gathered the 5 other Ashamen around him.
Yeah, they've already lost 2.
Oh, there were 7 in this?
Yeah, and they've lost 2 already from today's fighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, things are bad, and that's really how this perspective is going to end.
Okay, I mean,
that was really discombobulated, but like that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, so
even my notes don't make sense.
No, not a ton, but that's okay. But Bashir like thinks about the fact that they've lost about half their soldiers so far.
Okay.
Like they are taking pretty heavy casualties, but also consider the fact that Rand only has 5,000 people here, and they're going up 50 against 50,000 from what it looks like.
Okay.
So they're taking heavy casualties. But they are people who, don't really like Rand anyways. Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah.
And they are doing serious damage to the Shanshan. So that's the whole conversation of, is this actually worth it?
Is it working?
It's working. They're killing a lot of Shanshan. Is it worth it?
The amount of casualties.
Yeah. Because that's always the question, the Butcher's Bill, right? Bashir is very, very firm on that whole,
which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, they're going around the meadow to get going, and we see Bashir soon, but that's where we end him.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to perspective change, hop over into Rand's perspective. And that's good, because I actually forgot in this part of my note-taking that we have been with Rand already before, and I actually wrote, the Dragon Reborn, because that was the chapter symbol.
Yeah, we got him at the start with the
I know, I forgot.
Well, it was all set up before stuff started happening.
Things are happening.
Yeah.
Because we have Rand scowling at the clouds. It's decided to start raining again. He's really irritable. He starts studying the land in front of him. But he also knows well enough that there are dead men and women all around where he can't see.
Yeah, now he's specifically at this point avoiding any Suldam Damani.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see their faces.
Yeah, otherwise he's going to add them to his list.
Right, and he thinks to himself, people think he doesn't want to see them because he hates them so much. But I just love this unreliable narrator where it's like...
From 3 chapters ago?
They know I don't want to see them because I hate them.
The 2 ladies literally told him 3 chapters ago or whatever.
We know
you got to think about women dying. So no, Rand, they know.
Yeah.
Everyone knows. This isn't a secret.
I know. So he also has thoughts on how tired he is because he's been holding the power all day and every day.
For a week, yep.
Plus the strain of fighting Saidin with all the weirdness, and his wounds hurt.
Yes, but they're not busted open.
They
so that's
hoit.
Good. They hoit.
Ouch.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now Adley is here, and he is saying, it was an accident. I swear it was. And now Rand is saying, shut up and watch. He's being really angry with Adley.
Yeah, and we don't exactly know what happened at this point, but then we figure it out.
No, but it's also a little bit clarifying kind of what happened with that other Damane.
Yeah, that this is literally a thing that's happening. Where the lightnings
came down on the wrong side.
Yeah, because...
That's exactly what happened, essentially.
Yeah, only with fire, it seems like.
Adley slipped with a weave, and his own men died in uncontrolled bursts of fire. So it feels the same, which is interesting, because this entire time we've been here talking in front of this microphone, you've told me that Saidin and Saidar work differently. Yeah. And here it feels like something the same is happening.
Yeah, it should maybe same in effect. The functional use of Saidin and Saidar are different, but they're 2 halves of the same coin.
Yes.
And weird stuff's going on because the Bowl of the Winds we saw uses both.
And that's the only thing really we can the biggest thing we can link.
Yeah.
And link to what's happening here.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Okay, Rand, you know what? If all of this is happening because of the use of the Bowl of the Winds... that kind of makes me happy.
Why? That's a weird reaction.
So,
What?
I hate the Bowl of the Winds.
No, come on.
I hate Cloud Bowl.
Okay, well...
That's not a secret.
Yeah.
And I actually predicted, I thought that the end of Lord of Chaos should end with the Bowl of the Winds being used and there being this, like, repercussion that they didn't expect. I thought, like, okay, maybe it doesn't actually change the weather in the way you think it will.
Gotcha.
Which, I mean, kind of, it happened.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever. It changed the weather.
Yeah.
It happened what they wanted, kind of. It corrected things.
The law of unintended consequences.
Kind of feels that way. And so if all of this is happening because of the use of the Bowl of the Winds, I feel a little bit vindicated and a little bit like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I didn't love that it just, like, went off, did what it was supposed to do, took way longer than it should have to even be used.
Sure.
I like that there are these unintended consequences. That makes the Bowl of the Winds plot a lot more interesting and a lot more intriguing to me.
Okay.
I like that it used Sidene as well as Sidar. Like, that whole thing was very interesting. So now that there are these other things that might be happening because of it.
Okay, you're here for it.
Cool.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm here for that.
I'll link it back to that other stuff I was angry about before.
I mean, unfortunately, Adley is the one who killed a bunch of people, and he's the only one it happened to, wink, wink. It didn't happen any other time today.
No,
Definitely,
even Rand
probably.
thinks that it probably happened in other instances for other times, but he doesn't want to know about it.
He didn't see it, but he didn't see it happen, so...
Yeah. Okay, so right now... Nobody here is allowed to hold Sidene unless Rand says so, which is like Rand is in charge of this. Cool.
Yeah, well, so we got
of
Rand
all the
and Adley.
people in charge.
Yeah, and then we've got Flynn and Shiva here.
Yeah.
So we got the four of them.
Okay.
Adley's supposed to be off with the companions, but he's here because of the incident.
Because of what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the ladies, the A ladies.
The A ladies, yep, they're back.
Come up and is like, hey, is this done? Because...
Can we go now?
There's tons of casualties. Your name will go down in the history books. This was a big, deathly battle.
Yeah, like, you did it, man. What you came here to do. Well, I mean, this is the thing. It was a back and forth, and right now, we are at the end of the battle. Like, they have done what they have accomplished. This should be it. They should be done now. Except
Rand snaps and says... I mean to drive the Shan-Chen into the sea. I did it before, and I'll do it again.
Yeah.
And now, can I tell you the line where I actually laughed out loud?
Yeah, Lews Therin coming in with the jokes.
Coming in, asking slyly, do you have the Horn of Valir in your pocket this time?
Yeah, no.
Mic drop.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, Lews Therin.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's a good joke.
This is so funny. I giggled out loud to myself when I read this.
Mm-hmm.
This is so funny. And that also means Lews Therin has been here since, like, book 2.
Well, I was going to ask, does that mean that, like, because LTT, he wasn't here for that?
No.
He wasn't around yet.
No. I love it so much.
Okay. I feel like that adds a lot more questions than it answers, too.
I love it so much. It just adds to the complexity and the comedy of Lews Therin. It's so good. It's so good. I'm going to highlight everything Lews Therin ever says from now on, like, from now, forever.
Yeah, you got to reread the books from Lews Therin's perspective only. Only read the Lews Therin bits.
Yeah. Anything that happens in Rand's head, we can safely assume, is also Lews Therin's head. Because that is good.
Okay. We're jumping into, like, uncharted territory there, and we don't have time. But can I tell you... We don't have time for that.
This is also very funny.
Okay. It is.
Good
jokes.
It is.
Absolutely. There's lots of, like, tiny little, like, nuggets of greatness in this chapter. It's so good. That's why it's my favorite.
I know.
Yeah.
So Bashir comes riding up from the west.
Yeah.
And immediately says to Rand, we're done. The fighting's done. I've left tons of dead behind.
Oh, he was just going around that meadow.
Yes.
Right?
2 of your Ashermen are dead. I sent the rest to find troops to send them back. And then he says... How does your butcher's bill run?
Yeah.
And that's just a callback to when I didn't know what that meant.
Well, yeah, and you, like,
and
Bashir
now I
lost
get it.
so many.
I get it.
Yeah. It's like, we lost way too many people. we shouldn't even be here right now. And Bashir literally went behind his back over his head.
Yes.
And he's rallying the troops so they can leave.
And Rand's like, you have no right to send orders.
Yeah, and it gets worse.
And he says, as long as there are half a dozen Ashamen left.
And then it gets worse.
As long as there's me, I have enough.
Yeah.
I mean, to find the rest of the Shanshan army and destroy it.
Like, Rand is insane and delusional, and this is the Kyrian battle all over again, where Rand's, like, going crazy and wandering around,
delusional.
And he doesn't have the maidens to, like, just wander around with him and be like, okay, man, we gotta go, we gotta go back, you gotta
come this way with us, come see.
Let's go, I have a present for you.
Yeah.
It's back at your palace in Kyrian.
Wanna see?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, because the problem is Bashir's trying to logically reason with an insane person.
Yes, yeah, like Rand is...
You can't logically...
Yeah, and whether Rand is like
can't
situationally...
reason with crazy.
Whether he's situationally crazy or whether it's like...
Whatever it is.
Actually crazy.
He's legit
like,
crazy now.
Right now, he is in a bad space.
Yes. So now Bashir tells Rand there's probably like 10 to 15,000 Shanshan soldiers... close enough to them, and there's probably 100 Damani or more, probably more coming in. Their general seems to have decided to concentrate the fight on Rand, and Rand says if they're out there, then that's where I'll destroy them.
Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry, I have to link this back to the fun fact too, which is totally, I wasn't planning on it, but with that specific line where Rand says, if that's where they are, that's where I'll destroy them. With that whole battle of Hamburger Hill, there's huge criticism over like why they were fighting on that hill because it didn't have any like significance in the battle. And they literally said, like, the general or whatever said that's where they were, so that's where we fought them. That was literally like a word for word, like that's what they said to justify.
Okay, and let me tell you the significance to me.
Yeah.
In this moment, I realized Rand had Kalendor.
Okay, now, yeah.
Honestly, this is the moment where I thought,
oh wait,
oh shit. Like the word destroy.
Oh yeah.
Was like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that he can destroy everybody on his own.
He's gonna do it.
And then,
as long as there's me.
It is one of those things that just clicked in my head all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Where I'm thinking about the long wrapped package.
Yeah.
We haven't got to that yet. Mm-hmm. What could it be? I already speculated it could be a Terangriel or Angriel.
You got so close. We talked about Terangriel. You were like, maybe there's an Angriel. We talked about the little man that he lost.
Yes.
And you were like, I don't know. It could be something.
Maybe Samuel's cash.
And then I was laughing because you're like, maybe he found a new one. And I was laughing and you thought I was like making fun of you or something. Yeah. But it's like, you were so close. You just got to stick on that Sa Angriel. And he's got two of them.
Yeah.
He's got Kalendor.
And
he's got the little globe guy.
I actually thought in this moment about either one.
Yeah.
I didn't know which one because I
one
thought
that
to
fits
myself.
In a carpet.
But I don't know that the Emmy Award guy that
Globe
is holding a globe. I don't know how thin that is.
That's true.
Maybe that also could be wrapped up in a carpet.
Yeah.
Maybe it's thin enough, right? Depending on how far the globe is over the person's head.
Oh, yeah.
Or the sphere or whatever it is. I thought about both of them because both situations for Dashiva or Narishma, I can't tell the difference.
Narishma is the one who went to go search. Yeah.
Both spots that those Terangriel or Sa-Angriel are in.
Sa-Angriel, yeah.
Are dangerous to get to.
One specifically more so probably too. But Rand trapped both. One of them he did while he was sweating and crazy.
Yeah.
And one of them he did when maybe debatably like a little less crazy. But the Stoneteer with Kalendor he was doing that when he slammed the sword in. He was like dripping sweat and laughing, and he did it in front of all the nobles.
Yeah. And Moraine we saw that from Moraine's perspective, so it was like really nuts.
Yeah.
And then shook everything in all of Tyr. Yeah. So in my brain, at this moment, I thought, oh my god, it's one of those.
Yeah, yeah. And it is.
And I wish you were around and I could have been like, this is that. And then you could be like, You know, it's
Yeah,
hard for
this
me
is
to
that.
say retrospectively that I thought this before it showed up.
That's okay.
But I did, I promise.
Oh, I know. You got so close, and then you just missed it a little bit. But I mean, that makes, and it's kind of interesting, but like, Rand's secret mission for Narishma was go retrieve Kalendor. This is how you get past all the traps that I set.
Yeah.
And Narishma comes back pissed, and he's like, you almost killed me. You didn't tell me about everything.
Yeah.
And Rand's like, I told you about everything.
Everything I needed to.
Yeah.
But like, what did he remember even from doing that?
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and what did he miss? And so Narishma almost died, but then didn't. So,
okay, well, yeah, which we'll get to in one moment.
Yes.
I just want to talk about that now because I did have the thought, just like one episode too late to talk about
That's okay. That's
to get the full gold star.
Mm-hmm.
But I get a happy face.
You do. You definitely get partial marks.
Okay, so Bashir moves right up close to Rand.
Like, so close that one, like Flynn backs away. Like, Rand is like knee to knee with Bashir now. Like, Bashir is getting up in Rand's business.
And he's like, listen, you're not thinking straight. We've already tried your plan. Our plan.
Yeah, we did that.
It worked okay. The Shanchen general is smart. They're adjusting. We've done really good. But now they're pulling everything they've got together, and you won't catch them by surprise anymore. Ashaman or no Ashaman.
Yeah. And Bashir's got a good point, because they have been crazy effective with like 5,000 troops versus like 50. But now it seems like we're calling in all the reserves from Abu Dar. Everybody come in, because we know where we got to go. There's one guy, especially if Suroth is giving information to them about specifically what they're up against.
Yep.
Like, this
exactly.
is
okay.
bad. We got to listen to Bashir here.
Yes, and then Rand says, nobody stands nose to nose with the Dragon Reborn.
Mm-hmm.
Right, guys?
Yeah. No one's saying anything.
And then he says, you think I can't surprise him? Look at this.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out the big bundle he's been carrying, and he pulls out Kalendor, the sword that is not a sword.
It's a Sangreal. Crazy powerful Sangreal.
Okay, and now just for those of us who forgot the difference between a Terangrial and a Sangreal, not necessarily that it's me, but it's definitely me.
Okay, so Terangreal do things, need things. They can be sex toys. Right?
No, we don't want to talk about that one.
Okay.
Give me a different... The dream... They send you to the dream world.
It's an oath rod.
It's an oath
They
rod.
do stuff.
Okay.
Balefire fire hose. That's a Terangreal.
So
they do stuff.
Can I just clarify?
Sure.
Last time, I know it's convenient for me to say this right now, but when I said Angreal or Terangreal, I meant Saangreal.
Okay.
I meant anything that can make the power bigger and better.
Yes. So remember,
I forgot Saangreal as a word existed.
Gotcha. Okay. That's an important one.
We haven't heard that in a very long time.
It's been a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. Remember how we got during the Bowl of the Wind sequence with the Angreal that Elaine was giving out? And she gave one to...
I know what an Angreal does. I know Angreal.
The amount, though, is important. The amount that an Angreal amplifies a person, right, is huge.
Big. It can be big, it can be small, but mostly
every comparison where it's not like, oh, you're just you're like multiple times more strong than you were.
Yes.
And then a Saangreal is like that much more over again, multiple. And then Kalendor and like the little globe guys are so much more than that. Like, they are the most powerful.
But there are other Saangreal.
Well, we know that there's definitely one other, maybe two others.
The one that matches.
Well, no, we know not those, not even counting the, because there's the matching globy guys.
Yeah.
One for the male half, one for the female half. Then there's Kalendor.
Yeah.
But then we know that there are rumored 1 to 2 other Saangreal that might be somewhere in the ballpark.
Do we have an idea of who or what those are?
Who, what, where, when? Nope. Just that maybe something.
Others exist.
Yep.
I don't remember.
Saangreal are like very rare.
Okay.
We've gotten like 1 or 2 little tidbit hints that
because the difference, okay. So, okay. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sa'angreal, crazy
powerful Angreals. And Angreals
you gotta give me more like you descriptor word, like crazy powerful.
Okay.
Crazy, wildly powerful. Like if you just say like, oh, powerful Angreal, that's not you're not giving me enough.
Okay. And then Angreals are doing Angreals, sort of.
Yeah, they do stuff.
They do stuff.
Yeah, they do stuff and things. And sometimes non-channelers can use Terangreal.
Right. Uh-huh, yeah. Right, like the dream stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Rand has Kalendor.
Sa'angreal.
Yes. A very unique one, at least, because he likes to think funny thoughts when he has it.
Well, and he even thinks back to the last time he used it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So the last time he used it was...
He's even scared of using it, and he's afraid because of the last time he tried to reanimate a dead girl.
Yeah, and Moiraine had to step in and was like, buddy, stop making the dead little girl be a puppet, because you can't do that.
You can't.
But Kalendor, anytime he holds it or has it near him, he thinks, I can do anything. Anything. For real, anything.
I can do anything.
Yeah.
And guess what he does? He reaches for Kalendor and thinks, I can do anything.
Yes.
And then Rand calls out to Lews Therin to help him.
Do a super cool new weave.
But
because
Lews Therin is off in a corner whimpering.
Because he did the cool thing in the Sonneteer with the lightning that ran down the hallways, and he's like, oh man, do something cool like that again.
Remember that last time?
Remember that? That was really
where
good.
I called a bunch of lightning and it struck down only the Shadow Spawn.
Yep.
Let's do that again, except only the Shan-Chan.
Yep.
I think you need to be thinking about it a little bit better or differently to make it work exactly like that.
Well, and also, I mean, I do want to point out, too, that since Rand last used Kalendor, he is definitely probably, like,
Powered
leveled up.
Yes.
Yeah, he's definitely not the same guy he was.
No.
So.
Okay, so now Rand whispers to himself, I am the storm, and he channels. And now he doesn't know exactly what he's doing, and he thinks maybe Lews Therin is helping him. Probably not.
Yeah, maybe, man. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it.
He's like weaving wind, water, and a lot of fire across the sky, and 100 lightning bolts strike at once, striking everywhere. It's a whole thing.
Like, it's havoc. It is absolute chaos.
It's wild.
Yeah.
And now something hits Rand, and he's on the ground. But Kalendor is still in his hand, and he thinks... So they think to strike back at me, do they? And he screams out, come against me if you dare. I am the storm. Come if you dare, Shaitan. I am the dragon reborn.
Yeah, so this has been something we haven't heard Rand do in a long time.
You're not supposed to say that, right?
Well, number one, no, because like the earth is supposed to like literally... Well,
and it alerts the Dark One to your presence.
Yeah, you don't name him. But we haven't heard Rand specifically do that and call out Shaitan by name.
Other people have, though. In this series, probably one or two other times.
Well, like Sen Bui, I'm pretty sure said it once.
No, the word Shaitan specifically causes like tremors in the earth.
Yeah, like
right?
We've gotten that shift. But Rand hasn't talked about this since like book 3. Like when he was fighting Baalzamon a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like he really has not been focused so much on saying, and then like he is back. He's right now back to that with Kalendor. Like he's
It seems bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bad. Worse than everything else we've
there
talked
we go.
about.
Yeah. There we go.
And at this point, 1,000 more lightning bolts just start coming down.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we look at the scale of what Rand is doing right now, it's like absolute devastation.
Yes.
He is doing so much damage with Kalendor right now. It is wild.
Yeah. So something strikes Rand down again, and this time Kalendor is knocked from his hand, and he realizes that Bashir is on top of him and shaking him, but Bashir is shouting at him with blood running down his face from a split open skull. And now... when Rand started this, like, raining of lightning...
Yeah.
I honestly thought this was where we lose Bashir.
Yeah.
I thought this is where we lose several people we know and a little bit care about.
Okay.
I mean, I know we already lost Adley, right?
Yeah, well, not yet.
Well, Adley's dead in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, in a second we'll find that out.
Right. Which is like...
Definitely probably Guayam and Maricon, because Ericom just died.
Uh-huh.
Like the 3 from that Min viewing. So we got to be on the lookout for those guys.
But I thought maybe Bashir.
Yeah.
Of all the people here who I care about, Bashir obviously means the most. Fahil's dad, whatever.
Yeah.
But no.
Don't kill off Bashir.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. No way.
And again, we're through kind of another... And I mean, like, we're not through it in the sense that we're talking about it. But Bashir is shouting at him, "Stop it! You're killing us, man! Stop!" And then Rand realizes that the lightnings are coming down in every direction, not just down on where the Shanshan must be, and his own men are screaming and dying. Rand lets go of Saidin and takes a few seconds here as the dizziness kind of sweeps through him.
Yeah, and the big note here too is that, so Bashir, number one, he's the man. Like, good for you. Tackling the crazy powerful channeling Dragon Reborn who's like lighting everything on fire. Tackling him not once but twice to knock Calendar out of his hands.
Yeah. To
try to stop him from like murdering everybody. But like, that's huge points in my books. But Rand thinks to himself too that it's silent except for all the screaming that's happening right now. And it's like, that's not what silence is either, Rand.
No.
It's like that's a bad descriptor word too.
Compared to the raging torrent that's must have been in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, big round of applause for Bashir.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. I'm surprised he's still alive, honestly.
Yeah.
And to come away from this with like no book favorite casualties.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Well, who else is there here that we even care?
We don't even have, but that's the point of Rand, bringing all these people we don't like.
That is kind of the point,
That was the point.
It doesn't even really
That's the
matter.
point of like, do we actually care that much about the people we lost?
Not really, no at all.
No, I mean, maybe we should be, worried about Rand doing this again. Like, maybe we should, put Calendar away for a minute.
How long has it been? 5 books?
Yeah.
Since he used it last?
So, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's right around the end of the series. Okay, that's pretty close. Okay. So, it's time for another one.
Yeah, this feels, though, a little bit like the decline of Rand.
Oh, yeah. So, that's the other thing. Is that this isn't like a Rand is on the upturn and doing better.
No.
It is, we are in a spiral going downhill.
I think the problem, for the most part, in the most all of this book, is that Rand has literally been on his own without actual counsel.
Yeah.
I think Rand does better with genuine counsel. Like, people who care about him and also the Earth.
Yeah.
Because the last battle doesn't matter if you just, like, sweep half the Earth clean.
Here's a point.
Does it? Or does it still?
I mean, maybe. Here's a point. It doesn't seem like he used Balefire here.
No.
That's good.
Rand reserves it for the Forsaken, and it seems like kind of for a reason. On purpose. Like, maybe he doesn't he doesn't know, but inherently maybe he knows.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, because he's
Dark
not bale-firing Shanshan.
Yeah.
Maybe if he's in front of the Shanshan Empress, he would.
Then maybe. Okay.
That'd be cool to see. And the worst at the same time.
Oh, man. Okay.
I am the Empress now.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Yikes. Okay. Where we are here in this scene, Bashir is climbing off of Rand, and everyone is super wary of Rand right now. Rand leaves Calendar lying on the ground. Flynn stands up. Adley's dead on the ground.
Yeah, Flynn's
Rand
the healer guy.
wonders how many more of the defenders and companions are dead right now. And he also wonders if he hurt the Shanshan at all, or if it was only his people that he killed.
Yeah, because again, he can't actually see anybody.
No.
So
he couldn't even really see anybody right now to begin with at all.
Yeah.
And
Bashir was just like, there's like 10, 15,000 down there and like 100 Damani probably.
Yeah.
And he's like, boom, let's... Because he's elevated, right? So...
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rand tells Bashir to set whatever guards they need, and when the rest of the troops get back, we'll travel out of here. And then Rand thinks to himself, because he's retreating at this moment,
yeah,
he thinks to himself, not as like kind of a great victory that he had this entire run. This whole thing he's done.
It was a success up until...
It was a success until this moment.
Yeah.
But he thinks, I've lost. I'm the Dragon Reborn. But for the first time, I've lost. And I think, well, okay, no, not really.
And, like, maybe some, like, maybe trust in the people who are immediately around you and saw this, but...
Sure.
Yeesh.
But in terms of, like, the army defeating you, no, you didn't lose.
Yeah, you definitely killed
more than... If anything, you lost for yourself, but, like...
Yeah.
No, this isn't even a loss. You pushed the Shanshan back. Like, no, you didn't push them back to the sea.
Yeah, you didn't, like, wipe them out completely. I mean, I feel like he should get some points.
He should get something. But as he thinks this, Luz Theron rages and is like, no way, no how, I don't lose. I've never been defeated. I am the Lord of the Morning. No one can defeat me. And then Rand sits in the rain, staring at Kalendor lying in the mud, and Luz Theron keeps raging.
Yeah, so this is, okay, so from Rand's perspective, he lost.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's important for the next perspective. And the last perspective.
And, okay, I do have to say, the next perspective here, which is a page long.
Yeah.
I am happy for it. Because it would be really easy as a writer for shock value to leave us here in Rand's defeat.
Yeah, just like let us oof.
It would be really easy and so convenient and so emotional to leave us there wondering how bad this all was.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I feel like Robert Jordan didn't take the easy emotional route. You know?
Yeah.
He gave us a bit of a wrap-up showing us that Rand's inherent feelings of defeat are not necessarily valid.
Well, I mean, both sides can lose in this encounter.
I know, but Rand's feeling of defeat isn't necessarily our view of what defeat should look like, because he doesn't even know if his lightning hit Shanshan.
Yeah.
That's where we're left.
Yeah.
And it would be so nice and easy as a writer to leave us feeling...
Yeah, just like
Rand lost and the Shanshan won.
Yeah.
But Robert Jordan doesn't let Rand lose this easy. He gives us...
Okay.
He gives us the tidbit that also the Shanshan feel they lost.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. It's like, just because...
It's huge!
Just because the Shanshan feel like they lost doesn't mean that Rand's feelings of losing here are invalid. Like, you very well may have lost too.
Okay,
so.
Yeah. But this paragraph or page or whatever is easy to overlook, but is so important to the emotional aspect of what's happening
so
here.
let's do this.
Okay, so now this guy, Yulin, we saw before.
Yeah, he's the Shanshan captain of the air.
Yes.
Guy in charge of all the Raken.
Okay, so he's weeping. I told you weeping would come back.
Yes, weeping is here.
He's weeping, and he thinks that someone would have to give the order, and eventually someone would have to apologize to the Empress.
Yeah.
And maybe Suroth sooner.
Because she's here.
Yeah, but that's not why he's crying. And it's not even because Mirage, the guy we saw before, the Captain General, is dead.
He's dead here.
He's dead here beside him.
Yeah.
But Yulan says, send out the orders for retreat. And he thinks, for a second time on these shores, the ever-victorious army has suffered a devastating defeat. And Yulan didn't think that he was the only one who wept here today.
Yeah, so...
Huge.
2 questions. Number 1, what
does that even mean?
What are the Shanshan changing their army name to? Because, like, you can't be the ever-victorious army if you've lost twice big time.
Okay.
Right, so new army name.
Sometimes victorious army.
Sometimes the mostly victorious army.
Yes,
Doesn't have the same ring, but that's okay. Second question, are we assuming, because, like, devastating defeat, a lot of troops got sent from what it sounds like Bashir thought that the Shanshan were sending reinforcements, focusing fire,
On
let's
Rand.
do this. And from what we kind of know, Kalendor is supercharged to Angriel.
That can wipe Camelin off the map.
Yeah, I mean,
Did we
debatably,
just
right?
wipe Abu Dar off the map?
Or is it did we wipe a huge amount, even more than we thought, amount of Shanshan off the map? And are they abandoning Abu Dar? Are they retreating to Abu Dar to form a defense? Do they think Rand's coming after them next?
For the second time on these shores, is he referring to
Falma.
the first time as being Falma?
Because they got pushed off. They got pushed off of Randland.
Completely.
They got wiped out, and they had to go and retreat in the sea around those islands.
This is a devastating defeat. I imagine that they're pushed back probably either to Abu Dar or further back from
Yeah, because
Abu Dar.
if they assuming that whoever launched this attack is on their heels now? What's happening next? Is he coming for Abu Dar? Is he going to wipe us all out? We don't really know the scale of what Kalendor did.
My biggest prediction right now is that we're jumping from this to somewhere else in the world, and we're not going to figure out in next chapter.
You gotta sit on this for a little bit.
That feels because we did get this kind of wrap up from a different perspective, it feels like the wrap up from here. And now
7 chapters.
I'm counting on my fingers. Yeah. 7 chapters left. I think we have enough time to get back to Rand at some point. Maybe have Rand return to Kyrian at some point.
Okay.
But also, we need to get to Matt. I've been saying that all along.
Yeah, we haven't had Matt this book yet.
Elaine to get to Camelin.
Okay.
And then what is Egwene doing? What's happening there?
Well, they're hunkering down for a month.
They're hunkering down.
They have a month, and they're gonna siege Tarvalon. So
I know.
We've got
I was
Perrin.
feeling as though maybe that siege might happen before a month. So
okay, that's hopeful.
And then plus Perrin, and Gildan and the Prophet.
Yeah.
We got the lead up to that, and then here we go.
Okay.
Ramp up to the end of the book, which feels weird to say in chapter 24. This is a short book.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Good though. Exciting.
Yeah, and I mentioned it, but we're doing 2 chapters next episode.
25, 26.
Yep.
We're doing it.
We're doing this.
All right. Very cool. I am very excited to read on. And so before you use Kalendor for the second time in this entire book series, which seems like a pretty big deal, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's the end of another fun episode. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Margaret, and Charlie Haz. With music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast, and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.